Michael, it feels like it's a whole Xbox day kind of thing. Let's talk about as Activision Blizzard again boosted Xbox earnings results while hardware declined. I'm not surprised by that, right?
Yeah.
Let's get into it. Andy Robinson over at VGC. Activision Blizzard again helped drive Microsoft's gaming division in its latest financial results, despite a significant decline in Xbox hardware sales. For the 3 months ended on June 30th, 2024, gaming revenue was up 44% year over year. Microsoft said on Tuesday, which includes 48 points of net impact from Activision. Without the acquisition, gaming revenue would have been down 4%. Xbox hardware revenue declined 42% year over year, but Xbox content and services revenue, which includes Xbox Game Pass, was up by 61% this quarter. Again, the majority of this, 58 points of net impact, came from Activision Blizzard. Speaking during a web call following the earnings release, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella claimed that the gaming division now has over 500 monthly active users. We talked about that already today. If you haven't, check out our first conversation. Quote, our content pipeline has never been stronger, end quote, he said. Quote, we previewed a record 30 new titles at our showcase this quarter. 18 of them, such as Call of Duty Black Ops 6, will be available on Game Pass. Game Pass Ultimate subscribers can now stream games directly to devices they already have, including, as of last month, Amazon Fire TVs. Finally, we are bringing our IP to new audiences. Fallout made its debut in the TV show on Amazon Prime this quarter. It was a second most, we talked about that earlier as well, the second most watched show on Amazon, which is great, which then increased to huge numbers, which again boosts the sales, Michael. Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yep.
Earlier this month, Microsoft released Xbox Game Pass prices. Yeah, they raised them up. Get ready. And announced plans to introduce a new standard subscription tier that doesn't include day one releases. This one stings. Modern Warfare 3 also became the first Call of Duty game to be added to the subscription service, while Black Ops 6 will be the first Call of Duty title to launch day one when it's released on October 25th. The first Activision Blizzard game to be added to Microsoft's Game Pass subscription service was Diablo 4 on March 28th. According to the latest sales data from research from Currican, Xbox consoles were tracking 13% behind where Xbox One was during the same period of its life cycle in the US market. Microsoft has already confirmed it is working on new Xbox hardware and claimed that it has, quote, some exciting stuff coming out of the hardware that we're going to share this holiday, Michael. End quote. What are your thoughts? Where do you want to even start?
I think we can start with the obvious. We've talked about this before. Console sales are going to be down because we're at the end of this generation, right? We're waiting for that PS6, Xbox insert
handheld
random number somewhere. Yeah. So I mean that part all makes sense to me. I'm not shocked that consoles are down. I think we're all sort of waiting. The fact that Activision Blizzard is sort of carrying Microsoft numbers, that's interesting to me. This was a merger that I think a lot of people, myself included, had our eyes on. We obviously had the whole monopoly issue. It kind of got stuck in the courts for a while, so we were kind of curious how all this was going to go. So interesting to see that it is propping up Microsoft that much. And I mean, it's all Game Pass. I feel like we talk about it all the time. Game Pass is the service they want to go to, and it's an amazing service. I'm going to be honest. It's an amazing service, Drew, and I think it's working. It's doing everything they need. And outside the price increase, I've been pretty happy with mine.
Yeah, no, that's fair, right? I'm on the Ultimate service. I'm right there at the top. I won't go anywhere but the service, right? But it is one of those, they've focused so hard on the subscription model, and they've even talked about how it's not really doing great, but it's getting better, especially now that they have Activision Blizzard. They're pulling in Call of Duty players, right? They're boosting those sales. There's a reason why they upped the price. And then they dropped one tier to standard tier so that you don't get day one passes or day one games on Game Pass. Why? Because they want you to buy the Ultimate Pass so that way you can get the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and be ready to go. That's what they want you to do. Makes sense, dude. At the end of the day, that is business, right? You need to keep money coming in. You need to keep that service growing. How do you do that? Well, we're going to up the price, but we're going to drop it here so that you can no longer get day one games. This is something Xbox has been thriving on since they started Game Pass. Every first-party studio game goes to Game Pass day one. They can't say that anymore, Michael. right? They have to rephrase that. Has it hurt them? Doesn't sound like it, right? At the end of the day. And now we talked about how you get into the console cycle is getting a little longer in the tooth, right? We were hearing rumblings of a PS5 Pro. They're supposed to drop this year. Now it sounds like it's dropping next year. What's that line up for Xbox? Xbox is about to announce something this holiday season. When does that come out? Does that come in 2025? Probably. I don't see them announce it and then dropping it this holiday season. They want to announce it, build the buzz, and then sell it to you next year. We'll see when they want to sell it to you. Do they jump out ahead then, kind of like they did with the 360 era, and get out in front of PlayStation? And hey, here's the most powerful hardware you can buy right now. Is that enough? Or we've also heard rumors of a handheld, Michael.
A handheld?
I want the hand. Dude, I want one. I want one. I'm all in, right? I've got a Steam Deck. I've got the PlayStation Portal. I've got a Logitech G Cloud device. I've got them all except for an Xbox One. Now, granted, G Cloud, the Logitech G Cloud, can tap into my Xbox and I can stream that way. But if I have a dedicated Xbox controller with a screen, just like the PlayStation Portal, dude, I'm all in.
Oh man, an Xbox handheld. I think you might be onto something. We'll have to see, because that would be sick. I think the one thing for me, I'm curious how this next Call of Duty cycle goes, right? This will be the first Call of Duty with Microsoft and Activision together. Modern Warfare 3 was kind of already out when this acquisition happened. So that's what I've got my eyes on. I know there's more titles, but this is the one I've got my eyes on. There was a lot of rumbling. 2-year COD cycle, Warzone maybe becoming its own separate game. That's a whole other topic, but that's what I'm keeping my eyes on for this merger, for the end of the year numbers. What does Black Ops 6 do as its first Microsoft title? That will tell me a lot about their future outside of Game Pass, because as you said, everything they're doing on Game Pass, again, outside the price raises, are fantastic. Let's see how the games do now that they've actually merged together, because this will be the first real release. But we'll have to see, Drew, but they're doing all good things. And a handheld, oh, my wallet could not be more sad for 2025 if we have a handheld on top of everything else coming out.
Man. Yeah, absolutely. Xbox is far from finished, right? I think that's the biggest thing. We want to hear from you, though. Hit us up. You know how to do it. ITGTV.com.